I'm here to spook you.
Yeah.
Halloween at CopyWho.
Don't fall asleep.
What is up? This is CopyWho. Hello, Mark. You're my first guest here. How's it going today, buddy?
I'm doing great. What's up, man?
You're Mark.
Mark, yeah, I guess.
RelateOne.
If you want to call me by my government name, yeah, Mark.
RelateOne also.
RelateOne.
Right? RelateOne. Okay, see, I have the white boy pronunciation with that.
Yeah? Oh, why you got to bring race into this?
You were the first one to bring up race today, dude. No doubt about it. It was not me. It was you.
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, man. Welcome. You're in front of my third wall, and that makes me very happy. I've been working my butt off getting this stuff ready these last few days, man. And so now I have an actual guest here, and I'm going to turn that flashing light off so that we don't seizure out here in front of all the TVs. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think I devised a Halloween look here, and I'm a little bit nervous because this is a new deal for me, having someone in here. I had a plan to have a much prettier young woman in here than you, dude, but it didn't pan out.
I mean, I'm not a young woman.
But you were my close second, so.
Yeah, who were you going to have in here?
This young girl, or this young woman from the Kava bar that I've been talking to. She's funny, she's intelligent, she has some interesting stories, and she's gorgeous looking, and so I thought it would be nice to put her on that wall and see what the hell happens.
You know what? I'm a good replacement.
Yeah.
I'm not as pretty, but
no, you're not as pretty, but you are funny. You might be more comfortable with yourself and funny. I think she's a little bit gun shy about coming in here and doing this, but whatever, man.
Whatever.
I know that you said that you are thirsty, and so I'm gonna go
please
here.
Pass me the beverage.
And I'm gonna pass you this right here and say, pour yourself some of that.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. This is a very fancy bottle you have here.
Yes, it's kind of like a vodka bottle. And I'm going to give you this stirring thing, even though you have nothing to stir into it.
I mean, I'm going to stir it either way just because I want to look classy.
Well, man, this is going to be a learning process. Do you know that? I'm all over here. Here, take this. Take this from me, man.
What is this?
It's, do you want some of that in your water? It'll make it taste weird, but I'm just saying, if you want that, you can have that, man.
I'm just wondering what it is. I mean,
it's what do you call it? Anti-inflammatory stuff.
So
turmeric is what it's called. It's anti-inflammatory,
no.
but it doesn't taste good. You can have it if you want to. Will you pass the water back to me,
Why
please?
do people always call it turmeric when it's turmeric?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I'm always confused about the pronunciation of that. I get that wrong all the time, man. And it's very frustrating for me as a performer, as a perfectionist of the English language, which is what I am.
Yeah.
I am a perfectionist of the English language, and have you been watching any of my clips out there ever?
I see some of them. I see the shorts that you have.
Yeah, okay.
And I think you get pretty wild there, bud.
Yes, and that's part of the thing. When I'm alone here in this room, I act very silly, and I don't quite have it in me yet to be totally weird in front of you. But we have this established rapport in the past. You knew what I did in my past life, and with the radio and whatnot, and so you're well aware that I'm weird and strange and all that stuff.
And cool, man. You can't keep
thank
it
you.
cool. You know what I mean? And you're like an awkward cool, you know. But
I see here. I knew that I had this vision this morning that my parents would call when I'm doing this, and I'm always bitching about interruptions here. And so I knew it. Like, we're in it. We're 5 minutes in it, and someone's calling me like duh 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 duh. And so it won't surprise me if they call back again, dude. In the past, before I was using this to mix my lights on and off, I would throw it under the table so that in case someone texted me because my mind gets on a fucking certain wavelength, and then all of a sudden someone's like bop bop bop, and my mind totally takes a detour. When I get on a creative flow, I don't like it when anything interrupts that's superficial or unrelated to what I'm doing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yes, it pisses me off, dude. But you are a creative. You have a history of making music and stuff, and I'm glad to see that you're still making music.
Yeah.
Even recently, you made that song Rainbow. Fire in the Rainbow.
Fire in a Rainbow.
In a Rainbow. Okay, I didn't know if
Yeah.
it was the rainbow, the one and only rainbow, or a rainbow.
Yeah,
Okay, it's more broad.
Rappers don't pronunciate. Is it a pronunciate or enunciate? We were talking about this the other day, but I didn't look
Fire
into
in
it.
a.
No, but the word itself, pronunciate or enunciate.
To do what?
When you're pronouncing things correctly.
I would say
Enunciation.
pronouncing is the word, and you can also say enunciate, I think is the word.
Okay, see, you
You can also say enunciate.
Yeah, no, but Fire in a Rainbow. That's a new single that I'm dropping.
Yeah, I dig that one, and you gave me a new version today,
Yeah.
and I listened to the old version a lot this summer. I put it on my iPad when I'm riding my scooter over to the kava bar in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm listening a lot to that. I actually have a playlist that says RelateOne.
Well, I
And I
appreciate
know
that, brother.
now tell me how you enunciate it. RelateOne. How do you say it?
RelateOne.
RelateOne.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that actually came because one of my buddies that's in my crew, he's actually in Blunted One's crew. I don't think you ever met him. T-Dubs. He just
I know that
one
name
day-
though.
Yeah, one day he just hit me up and he was just like, "What's up, RelateOne?" And I was like, "That's kind of dope." You know what I mean? Because RelateOne, everybody known me by that since high school. And
That's cool.
To me, it's a little bit boring, you know,
Oh,
unless I
so
explain
you're
it.
tired of it?
I'm not tired of it because RelateOne is still a version of RelateOne.
It's your it's what do you call it? It's your nickname.
Yeah, it's
with
my
them,
nickname.
basically.
It was more of like my Blunted Ones crew name.
Yeah. Is that defunct now? Is Blunted Ones completely defunct?
As far as making music, I would say, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, but we're still. I wouldn't say it's a gang, but it's a crew mentality to where we're always going to be Blunted Ones for life. You know.
Music is still getting made by you though. I'm glad to see
Yeah.
that. And you're still having the same beat maker guy. Tell me a little about him, like where
So-
he's from.
Yeah, Mictomatico. Actually, he pronounces it. He's like my brother, man. I met him in MySpace a long time
But
ago.
have you met him in person
I have.
ever?
We actually
okay.
we flew him out here.
That's interesting.
Maybe 5 years ago. But he's from Colombia, Venezuela. We all know if we into the news that there's a lot of turmoil going down.
And I
over there.
remember you telling me he had to like flee from there or something,
Yeah,
right?
he
Because
had
of
to.
all the communist turmoil and shit.
So Venezuela really got bad. And so he went from Colombia to Venezuela when he thought he was going to be able to stay in Venezuela, but then their whole economy dropped. It tanked.
Yeah.
And so then he had to move back out to Colombia, which, you know, I mean, it's still limited opportunities out there. That's why he's trying to work with people in the United States.
I
He's doing some
remember
good things.
you were trying to collect money for him when he was trying to make the move to his neighboring country. Is that right? And then you didn't have a means to send it to him. But I was like, if there were a way, I totally would have sent him money at that time.
Yeah, nah. So we figured out Western Union is able to get money to him.
Yeah.
So we were able to get him some money to help him and his family. They were dealing with some COVID stuff. His father actually ended up passing away during that time. 'cause
Oh
he got
wow!
sick.
Holy shit!
So he's been through
Sorry
some
to hear that.
things. Yeah, you know, it's life, and unfortunately, a lot of people that we know were affected by
Yeah.
the sickness. You know, so
I have carried on despite hardships in my life. There's no doubt. And I know it looks all glammy, rich white guy to you, but I'm actually a pretty miserable person, Mark.
why?
Why?
There's no reason. Life is too short to be miserable, even through all the bad shit that we're gonna come across.
Oh my God, what's to come is even worse. Are you serious? Are you seriously wanting to go down that road? Because life is going to get much worse. I guarantee you. Do you know what CBDCs are?
No.
Central bank digital currencies. They want to get rid of cash and they completely want to put us on like universal income. They want to impoverish everyone. So I don't feel secure in this house here. I feel like someone's going to come and take it from me. God knows what's going to happen. And they're going to get us on digital currency and they're going to be like feeding us bugs. And you think I'm joking. I'm not joking. I think this is very possible the future that's going to play out in front of us
But-
because infrastructure is being destroyed for food, factory farming is being shut down, energy is being shut down, and it's freaking me out. And so this is my escape here. And usually I don't talk about these things here because I'm acting like a jackass all the time. But this is what I obsess about all the time. I'm worried about World War III now, the wars that are going on that we don't have to get in too deep on. That shit is worrying me. I'm worried about the future in so many regards, man. I cannot begin to tell you.
The only thing that I could say, bro, is protect yourself. And
Like
that's
have
gonna
a
be-
gun? Is that?
Yes,
You mean have
yes.
specifically have a gun?
Have a gun, have
Okay.
ammunition, have a plan. Because if you don't have some of these basic things in place, then of course these fears are going
Mm-hmm.
to overcome us, and we're going to be like, man, what are we going to do? That's the kind of sheep mentality that most people have.
When it's the government coming for you, though.
Oh, bro, I
Like,
know.
so 20 guys are going to show up here like, you haven't gotten your fucking vaccine, Buster. You're coming with us. It's like, I've decided for myself, when they do that, I'm fighting to the death. I'm not going to their fucking stupid camp
Yeah.
because of some shit. Do you trust the vaccines?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
I haven't
good.
taken them. I actually
Good,
work
man.
closely with pharmacists, and
Yeah.
they have inside information on their end.
Pharmacists, you say?
Yeah, I mean they're actual pharmacists.
Okay.
So it's not.
I
not
thought it
like-
could be like some street lingo
No.
for street pharmacists. We're
Nah.
not talking about street pharmacists.
Yeah, I totally understand. I actually
Yeah.
had a pharmacist take me under his wing and become my mentor over the past 5 years, who's helped me
Mm.
change my life around. But he's also given me great advice that the public don't hear in a
Yeah.
medical way. So he's like, bro, just stay away from the vaccines as long as you can. You know, if you don't have to take them, don't take them, because who knows what's going to happen 5 years down the line with all of
God,
this stuff.
yeah. It's like we're the guinea pigs.
Yep.
We're the laboratory guinea pigs for people. And so I can't believe the trust people have for the system that they'll just be like, oh, yeah, they say take it. Okay. And yeah, I want to travel. I want to be free. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. They're fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, I mean, when you start to really trust our governing bodies, like to that point, you've really lost hope in humanity, and
Yeah.
you're just expecting them to control it, and their control is horrible. I'm the type where, so I don't know if you're familiar with.
I think their control is premised on a lie, a masquerade of wanting to protect you. And in
Yeah.
fact, they want to fucking kill us, dude. That's what I think is really going on. There are people, their design is to kill most of humanity. And that's what's stressing me out now in my life.
Oh, trust me, bro. I believe it. I understand it. We could see it.
Yes.
Like it's not. I mean, even with the Hawaii stuff.
Oh my God. That was so corrupt. What happened down there? That's a land grab, and that's
Of
fucking
course.
insane and corrupt. And the mainstream media is playing it like it's just this accidental tragedy when it was this manufactured fucking thing where all their emergency protocols didn't work or anything, and they're fucking taking all this land from people. I don't usually talk shit like on here about this, but you're bringing it up, and it's really interesting, man.
It is. I mean, it's something.
So
that-
you're with the native Hawaiians,
yeah, because
naturally.
all of the coincidences that happened with it were just too much to not look at and say there's something behind this.
Yeah.
It is what it is, you know, like in certain situations, they're going to go and try to destroy so that they could rebuild it and take it over
Mm-hmm.
for themselves. It's with any disaster, there's opportunity,
Yeah.
even when it's a man-made disaster. And so the opportunity goes to the people that have money.
And I think that's supposedly the most valuable real estate per square inch on planet Earth or something, right there where that whole fire happened magically, coincidentally. And so I just think it's a big money land grab because they want to rebuild it all and make it like a smart city. I don't know if have you heard of 15-minute cities, man?
No.
Where they're like the lockdowns are going to be permanent eventually, and they're going to be climate lockdowns, and they're going to keep us in tiny little zones where we have what we need, and we're only allowed to leave a certain number of times per year. It's straight up the nightmare communism of the 21st century is the way I see it, man.
I look at this
Uplifting stuff here you're doing with me
Hey,
this
you know
morning,
what?
man.
No,
It's
we-
not my fault. The world is not my fault.
You want to talk about being scary on Halloween?
Yeah.
That's scary shit.
Yeah, this is really scary shit. Not pretending to be Freddy Krueger scary. It's real life scary, and I have to agree with you, man. So bear with me a moment while I talk, Mark. I'm going to talk my thing, and what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to push the boundaries of what I'm doing in this show and stuff. And I've been doing it about a year since I first started coming online with videos called CopyWho. and I enjoy doing them, but they've evolved a lot. If you go back to the beginning of these videos, I was much more serene and not acting crazy, and I've kind of developed this goofy act and persona when I come on here because I want to be a funny man.
Yeah.
But I also get serious sometimes. And so I'm heading up toward the end of my first year, and I'm going to begin the new year and call it season 2 of CopyWho. And so it'll have a different look here. I busted my butt these last few weeks creating this look for Halloween, and over the course of the next couple weeks, I'm going to have a little bit of classic look and the skits out your brain red. What do you call it when someone fritzes out? I keep forgetting. Seizure. Yeah, I'm always forgetting that word. I almost seizure trying to remember the word seizure. And so I'm going to have a little bit of that in there over the next couple weeks. You remember my buddy Jesse? Pitbull.
Yeah.
Pitbull.
I was going to say his last name, but maybe I shouldn't.
No, don't for now. But yeah, so I'm going to have him come in here between now and Christmas once. And I'm trying to get that young woman from the Kava bar to come in here just to give this a different feel and sort of get my my skill level back up talking to people and whatnot here. And I want to take this in a new direction where I start building a community around me. And so hopefully you'll be incentivized. When I cut out clips from what we're doing here today, you will be incentivized to maybe share some of those clips with people and say, look, yo, check this out. Because I am trying to build a following here. And it's been a pain in the ass. It turns out a white man, even with all this gear and all this production know-how, is not as valuable as a chick in a bikini trying to get followers on social media. I can't stand that. That's not fair, man.
Well, put on a bikini and do your thing.
I mean, you come here, you joke about white privilege, but do you know how hard it is for a lanky, goofy white guy like me to build a following on my own without a hot woman in tone? That's probably a good example, but he was a special thing at a special time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It
Coming into life.
Wasn't nearly as saturated. And his
now it's like everyone is doing that. Anything goes. Everyone's doing that same shtick in some form. It's all derivative in some form. But the reason I'm doing what I want to do here is because I watch, for example, like what Joe Rogan is doing, and if you pay attention, the establishment is up his ass all the time because I think there's a lot of truth coming out on his show.
Of course.
And so people are starving for the truth, and I want to have a similar forum where we have real discussions about certain things. And I probably have to get someone mixing video for me eventually because it's really nerve-wracking having a conversation and having to do that at the same time because you're paying attention to what something looks like when it should just be someone following the conversation and clicking and not being part of the conversation. That's a real pain in the ass being a one-man producer, man. I tell you what, it's a pain in the ass, Mark.
You're doing a great job. Something broke.
Yeah, that's the explosion effect. That's also derivative. I stole that from people. So it's called CopyWho because I'm influenced by a lot of things, a lot of people, and so I take from them what I want for myself.
That's the best
and
way
I
to do
don't
it.
I don't give a horse's ass shit what they think. And so certain people have influenced me, including son of a butt-licking bitch. See what I'm saying, man?
It's because of the cold outside.
Yeah, one sec. Pardon that snafu. Now I've got another snafu, man. How about that? It's just going to keep haunting me. You know what I did? And we're resumed right now. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I'm just having this technical glitch. And I swear to God, actually, in season 2, that's one of the things I'm going to figure out, Mark, is why the hell it's doing that to me. And I'm not going to let it happen anymore. Nothing should be freezing up on me now. And I'm telling you, it's a punk ass bitch that it's freezing up on me.
I agree.
I break my ass to do things perfectly. These weeks I've been obsessive. Thursday I took 20 milligrams of THC. First time in like 3 months that I had any THC. And like my mind exploded with creativity. And all I did was I came up and I put all these giant TVs behind you on the wall. And I just went apeshit berserk. And so that is what I need to do for myself. And so this is working now. So I'm going to recommend we go to this next phase of the show where I'm going to take you all over here. Excuse me. So talk to me, Mark, while I'm fumbling around. What's up with you in your life and why? And well, like I know you've always had that creative drive, that endeavor to go after stuff. What's been going on with that? You're still making music.
Yeah.
Is it called The Circle now?
Nah, so I'm just kind of doing music solo. I took a lot of time off. I was really uninspired for a long time. I'd say for about 5 years. I didn't really make much music, maybe 1 or 2 songs over that span.
I can relate to that in my own creative life. I had like a long sabbatical.
Yeah, and I think one thing is that you got to be surrounded by other creatives that do the same thing to get you motivated and inspired. And so, just like I always have, I took a couple young guys under my wing and allowed them to use my studio when I wasn't using it. Seeing
cool.
them make dope shit was like, nah, I could do this too. So let me just kind of jump back into it, right? And I see...
And you might do it better, dude. I think you have a style... tell me where you are. Like, I like when you do that stutter thing in there. I like, that's the part that stood out to me. And it seems like with the new reversion you did of it, the new version, you added a lot more to it, right?
Yeah, there's some different mixing elements in there. I actually ended up going to a different studio to record these ones because I'm comfortable in my own studio, but sometimes I don't get into it like I would. Let's just say, like, if you're working from home on your computer, sometimes you might be able to just say, okay, I'm going to get up and go grab a snack. I'm going to get up and do this and that. When you're at work in an office, you're kind of a little bit more focused and going towards the goal. Same thing applies when I'm in my home studio compared to when I'm in another studio and I'm actually paying for the time.
Yes.
Then I know I have to be prepared and be ready when I get in there.
You have to be rehearsed and know what's up. You can't come in writing to the studio.
Yeah.
You need to be rehearsed and know what the hell is up with it.
And I can't say if I don't do it good right now, I'll give it a couple hours rest and I'll come back to do it. No, I got a couple hours to get it done. So going over there, it inspired me because it's a new environment, a bigger studio, an amazing engineer. Shout out to Jesse O'Brien.
Oh, nice.
You know, he's a great dude. I've known him for a long time, but we haven't got to work together until he started working at another facility. He was at a big studio out here in Arvada, Colorado Sound.
And do you find that you do better creatively with him because he's do you work better alone is what I'm saying? Because like I like being alone in my living room singing stuff, and if someone else were there I wouldn't sing quite as well because I'd be so self-conscious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. I mean, everybody's better when they're by themselves, when they're just kind of not worried about what other people think. Sometimes I get that feeling because I live with some family as well too, and if I got my studio actually set up in the big living room area, and so I'll have, you know, one of the kids or something going behind me or whatever. So it's in the back of my mind that other people might be sitting here watching me. And we do a podcast over there too. And we still got to be a little bit more timid because I don't necessarily want to be talking about, let's just say, sex or whatever. And the teenagers are walking behind and seeing that. Yeah. So of course, you know, when I'm all by myself, I could get crazy and wild, or I could sing and hit notes that are off or whatever, and that doesn't affect me. Versus if I'm doing it in front of somebody, I'm like really timid.
Dude,
but
sitting home alone, I behave like such a jackass. And one time I was like screaming like a lunatic because it's like you have to do things to entertain yourself when you live alone, and you're lonely and live a solitary life. And one time my dad walked in and he heard me screaming like a lunatic or something, and he's just like, man, who is this person? Like, you are a weird person. Like, because I know my dad's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Old school Italian guy. But it's this weird modern world we live in. Anything goes, everything's in your face and like crazy stupid all the time. But allow me to see, is this camera working now? Okay, it's working. So we're going to go do this special segment of the show right now with me, Mark, and hopefully get a good clip out of this. It's called The Rise. Have you seen The Rise at all?
No, I haven't.
It's called The Ascension, actually. I renamed it. I stole it from some talented bastard, and I just made it myself. I made it my own. And so here we go, man. Let me just... All right, so we're going for this again. This is take 1 million right here. I keep getting freezing cameras, and it's a disaster. I'm going to have to fix it. Here we go. Ascend. Are you still there, Mark? Are you still there? Are you
I'm
still?
here.
Are you still paying attention to what's happening here?
I'm alive.
This TV is going up. And this would be wonderful if the cameras didn't freeze. I would be very happy with all my hard work here getting all this squared away if the cameras didn't freeze. And so I need to be a little more in character, to be honest with you.
Oh,
I get shticked out for this. Do you understand
I do.
what I mean, man?
I do.
So, yeah, and I stole these clips to cut into this. So the fuck what? I'm not using their sound. And it's what I want. Right on, man. I get screenshots too, gratuitous screenshots, buddy. So now you do it. I saw something very weird a second ago that I did. A weird effect. Anyway. Okay, so I got a rise out of this. Okay, I think I managed to somehow pull that out of my ass. Holy cow, Mark. I'm stressing when the computer does that thing, you know. When it stresses me out like that. So we're supposed to go through a whole bunch of videos now. Are they going to even work for me? Is the question. Because we're going to close out of this. And we're going to come here and we're going to honor you a little bit, my friend. I want to honor you with your little thing that you did. And I have a link to it here. And we're going to click it open really quickly. And you're going to bear with me just momentarily while I got to get some things right here. Must endeavor to get things right.
Oh, you put that up, huh?
Yeah, it's just a slideshow. It's nothing special. I didn't have time, man. So here is your song that you sent me. This is the creative work of this man right here, everyone. Are you shy? Are you bashful about it?
Nah, man, I love it. This is my song. Why would I be shy about it? I want the world to hear it.
And I personally love all these AI graphics you're making. You should have sent me more of what everything's saying RelateOne, and I would have made it into a... What do you call it?
I think that one probably looks like me the most.
Yeah, it does look like you. Do you have the long hair still, or is it tied back this morning?
No, I got the long hair.
Man, you should have gone full rock star today, man. What are you doing?
It was cold out. I had the hoodie on.
Yeah, it is cold out. But that's why you let your hair down, man. That's pretty good.
When I lay low, smoking, sitting solo in the car. Yeah, this is a good song.
Dude, I recall actually way back when I was doing marijuana radio, I think my first Halloween party, Canoween, you were performing with Insaniac.
Yep.
And I remember how good you guys were together. And I don't know why you guys just don't keep doing that kind of stuff, because it's actually really, it was really top tier talent compared to a lot of chumps I see doing chumpy shit.
Yeah.
I really thought it was good, and I don't know why you guys don't keep rolling with that. I love his style too.
Yeah, no, Insaniac is dope. If I'm going to be honest about it, you know, because it's something that we don't really talk about, but we kind of just went in different directions, you know what I mean? Like, I like to do more of this type of music where it's kind of generalized for the masses versus like really hood music. Like Insaniac is a dope like
crazy
hood
stuff.
rapper, you know what I mean? Like,
but don't you think you guys can find a nice mix between that, best of both worlds type deal?
maybe, possibly. I just had him at the house the other day, and I was asking him what he thought about like.
Sweet. So you're not completely broken up.
No, man. That's still my boy. He's like my brother. You know what I mean? Like we'll never like cut ties with each other. Like that's never in the picture. We're always gonna be brothers. But as far as our creative dreams and expectations, I think they just a little bit different. He lives in a stripper world these days. You know what I mean?
I know, dude. He's told me to come there, and I'm not I went to a strip club a couple weeks ago in Vegas. It was Larry Flint's Hustler Club.
Yeah.
And I felt, how you say, uncomfortable. I just don't feel comfortable around women like that. I kind of feel like they're being exploited. And I could tell on the face and the look of these women that they were doing some drugs or something because of the tired look in their eyes, and that bummed me out. And then I was like, I should have brought Jesus Christ into the conversation and then like get my ass kicked out of there or something. Why not?
To me, strip club's not my deal. You know, that's not where I'm going to go hang out and shit. I don't mind being there. but I'm not gonna go over there to drop money.
Yeah.
I'm the,
I don't
I'm
go
the
up.
dude.
I don't go up to the stage. I don't put my face in their junk. I don't
No.
feel comfortable doing any of that. I really feel self-conscious about that.
I got some fun strip club moments, you know what I mean? Like where we had shows over there and we were doing some fun things, but taking you back to the Canaween, there's some people that could thank you for their life because of that. One of my friends actually met his wife at the Canaween show.
Yeah.
They had kids.
Oh my God,
and-
are you kidding?
Yeah, you know, so
I haven't met them. That's special.
it's dope, you know what I mean? Because you don't think about those things when you have shows. Like
Yeah.
you might influence the rest of somebody's life in a small way, inviting the right people.
Marijuana radio actually culturally opened a lot of doors for people locally. I recall when High Times magazine didn't even realize what the fuck was going on out here,
Yep.
and they were acting like they're the cat's meow out there, but they weren't even aware as the supposed epicenter of the marijuana industry. But now, all these years later, I'm not resting on my laurels or anything, but I do feel pretty good about my work back then. I remember calling you on the phone once and saying, I just need to try to quit smoking weed and get it out of my life a little bit. And
Yep.
it's a reoccurring visitor in my life, but I'm really, those early days of marijuana radio, no one even knew how we were the original pioneers. And everyone that
Yes.
came after kept saying things in their promo like, we're the first to do this. We're the first to have a weed party. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where the fuck have you been? What the fuck are you talking about? Everyone, but like big deal. Big freaking deal. This is what I'm doing now. And life had to progress in its own way. I'm glad I'm single now. And I'm glad for all kinds of things in life. I needed to find that sobriety. I actually value sobriety a lot, even though I'm
course.
fucking around with marijuana. And I'm not saying that I'm sober completely when I'm on marijuana. I'm just not. That's not the way it is, man.
I think everybody who uses marijuana should periodically take a break from it, just so that they could maybe
Perspective. Yeah.
reestablish certain things that they might have kind of forgotten about.
You find that baseline of sobriety, and suddenly you begin to value it, especially the more time that you invest in it. That's what I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to take you to something else here from the past. I don't know exactly. Let's see if this is any good here.
Oh
What
my
is it?
goodness, you still have something from the green chili cookout?
Yeah.
We are
The Circle. Do you remember this?
I remember the event. Yeah,
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, chili cook-off.
that was
Welcome
fun,
to
man.
Circle Radio.
I
this
cheated
week.
that day, right?
Special
I brought in
week. You
chili
did.
from a
Very special
restaurant.
week.
Oh, man, you did?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Shit.
Saniac, we got Paul. And
Look how skinny I was back then.
Look at you.
That's alarming. I'll go back to that. I'm so fucking skinny there.
Yeah.
Like, totally skinny as fuck.
Oh, Nancy was there.
Yeah.
I forgot. I still work with Nancy.
You do?
Yeah.
I've seen her
See, and-
online
I mean,
a little bit.
And that was introduced from Marijuana Radio as well. That's
Yeah.
a great relationship.
Yes. Interestingly, yeah, it did become a community for us
Oh,
down
look
there.
at that. Look at all that chili.
Yes, I remember one of them looked like blood specifically. And there you are with your long locks.
So-
That's the look I'm talking about getting you here doing since it's video now. When I say pimp, you take offense when I say pimp, right?
no, I
You
don't
think
take
I'm
offense.
I'm not really I'm saying pimp like slang, not literally you sell women.
No. I wasn't thinking of it like that. I was thinking like just dress up nice and shit. And bro, I work almost every day, so I'm
Yeah.
just in constantly in sweats and a t-shirt. You know what I mean? It's not like, and I do dirty work, so I'm not wearing anything that I care about.
Yeah. So you see what I'm doing here in this place. It's like I'm dressing up and I'm being all crazy. Let's look at Nancy really quick. Remember her? She was really good. It's been 15 years, or it's been like what, 12 years since that, I think.
It's been a long
11
time.
or 12. Yeah, I used to do shit before this, people.
Yeah, it was killer.
And more people knew about it back then too.
Marijuana Radio was great, Paul.
Nah, that's red chili and
This was the Circle Radio though.
But
This
it's-
little
it's-
side project we had.
Yeah, but it was
It had
under the
potential.
umbrella. It's still under
Yeah.
the umbrella.
Yeah, there I am indulging in
Oh, that's when
Dab.
dabs were first getting popular.
Yeah. Now they're just commonplace,
Yeah.
normal culture.
That's alright. I give it
I can see.
Oh, Nancy,
I'm
I
doing
love
my
you.
impression of her. No, yeah, she's cute. No doubt. I like that woman. I liked her back then. I remember she was all into some dude in a band. I wonder if she wound up with that guy or if it's just another guy now. They all,
I think with the band that she was in,
yeah.
yeah, they were together.
There was some guitarist writer dude that she was with at the time, I seem to recall. And I seem to recall being jealous. But I seem to recall.
Yeah,
She did not appreciate my creative prowess compared to. Maybe I should have just been a musician, is what I'm thinking. You know, instead of doing all this crazy bullshit.
Women love musicians. And Nancy, like, if I'm being honest, I've always been attracted to Nancy. I'm attracted to
She's cute.
pretty women who sing great. Like,
Yeah,
if you
talented, beauty.
Yes,
it
that's
all
like-
accentuates it.
yeah, that's like something that, and I told her this too. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want it to be awkward. I was like, look, it's sometimes
Was this you
hard.
trying to get with her?
No,
or
no.
You're just like, I have a crush on you, and I got to tell you.
I just told her, like I'm attracted to you, and sometimes this is one of the reasons why it's hard for me to work with women, especially talented women, because I end up liking them. Like,
I know what you're talking about. Oh my God. This happens to me sitting at a bar and getting familiar with women. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I crush on her. I come home, I think about her. I imagine what it would be like.
Yeah, and
Her plural, them. Like not the pronouns them, but them multiple women. I sit and think, what would that be like? What would that be like? And then I would be like, that would be crazy. That would be dysfunctional. I'm not gonna be with her because she's got a screw loose, Mark.
Yeah. And with Nancy, I didn't want to ruin anything that we had going because I thought we were making really good music.
Yeah.
She felt comfortable at my studio.
Professional boundaries.
All it's gonna take for me is go to try
dude,
to kiss her, and it ruins everything,
Yes.
right? Like,
and man, sometimes I was having this discussion last night. It's really special when you meet someone in life and you can just enjoy the shit out of one another at the raw human level. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And so sometimes you got to take that leap. Are you regretting you didn't take that leap with Nancy?
I'm not, because there's always gonna be another female out there for me. It doesn't have
Yeah,
to.
that's true.
I don't have to ruin my business relationships over my personal wants and needs.
Yeah.
Because all of that stuff, every woman in my past that I worked with, I would end up trying to fuck then. At a certain point,
Dude.
right? Like, for the most part, that's why I can't.
Did that
work
cause a lot of
directly with
drama
women.
back in the day? Like, you get involved with women, it eventually brings drama into the situation.
It didn't end up bringing drama. It just ended up making relationships a lot shorter than they should have, especially when they could have been productive. Like, even for example, there's this one female.
What
I
if
won't
you just
mention her
have like a
name.
good working chemistry with someone and it works? You know what I mean?
I still think that in the long run, relationships these days, modern relationships, don't last the way that they used to. So,
Right.
For example, I was with this other chick that's actually in another state right now. We
Did
had
you
a lot
meet
in
her
common.
with your Facebook posts? Because I know sometimes you're like, yo, I want to start dating again.
No. This was actually, it was really weird because my brother-in-law and sister went down to Vegas, and he had, it was like an auntie, but she was like more our age. So she was from Cali. They ended up seeing her out in Vegas and said, you should come to Denver, because she was just over there kind of thinking if I should stay here or if I should go somewhere else. She came to Denver. It was almost like a mail order bride situation, bro, because they brought her over and they was like, yo, we got this female that's like, does everything that you do, and she's got like kind of the same
And so
mentality.
what happened there? Why aren't you with that girl?
We ended up in a relationship for 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. But it ended up being, I wouldn't say competition, but she
long
wanted
distance, or she was here?
She was here. She lived with me.
okay.
She lived with me in
wow.
Lakewood and in Westminster. But things just didn't work out because she wanted something from me that I wasn't
Like?
able to provide. Like, just, she wanted more support. Let me just say it that way.
I thought you were going to say more sex.
No, that was
That
fucking,
was the
that was
part that
frequent.
works?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
always like the easiest part of a relationship, I think.
Yeah, there was a discussion last night in the Kava bar about the first year in lust as
Yeah.
opposed to the first year in love. And honestly, what I wanted to contribute to this conversation was sometimes in life we should have a few years where it's like all lust. You know what I mean? You should
Yeah.
have those memories, I think.
Yeah, of course. And
Was that lust with you?
it was lust. I've never like actually felt like deeply in love with a woman in my life. Like,
Never?
I've loved
Never.
them,
Wow.
but I can't say like I'm so in love with you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It hasn't happened. Not even with my baby's mom. Like I loved her, but I wasn't like deeply in
Okay,
love
yeah.
with her to the point where it's like I don't want to live my life without you. That I think that love is totally different. And I think just kind of growing up in the hood and having a mentality where I don't really want love kept me grounded.
Dude, that sounds like a MGTOW. Do you know what that is? Men who go their own ways. You're just like, okay, I'm done with women now. Are you saying that sometimes you feel like you're done with women?
No, hell no. I'll never be done with women. But
Because you put yourself in the mix
of
of life, you're gonna meet women.
yeah, and I just don't need like somebody that's gonna try to be my mom in a sense. You know what I mean? Like if I want to be a fool, I'm gonna be a fool. I don't want you to say, "Oh, you're being a fool," and it's embarrassing me. Like shut the fuck up. Like
I know, dude. I've been there in relationships where women make me feel like such a jackass in public too, and not because of their behavior, but it's like the way they're shitting on me.
yeah,
I'm not putting up with anything like that in my life anymore. I just have. I've like been reborn in certain respects along those lines. Along the lines of the women, I say, sir.
so I'm testing AI with pickup lines to women on Facebook dating, just so I could see what kind of responses I could get. Not
You're
necessarily
trusting the AI with
Yes,
these questions.
but it's just kind of like
Makes me
an
nervous,
experiment
man.
with me.
I
Though.
don't know if I trust that.
Why?
Well,
you
'cause
could get
these
the
things-
AI to make some really unique pickup lines that these women haven't heard before, utilizing comedy or whatever you think might pique their interest.
Hey, lady, I got a computer to tell me how to come up and talk to you. What do you think of that?
No, see, so they don't like it. So I have,
Yeah, they want you to be the original dude. It's not your game, then it's the AI's game.
but who provides the information to the AI to give them the information to spit back out, right?
Damn good question.
We could always go. I got a song called Pickup Lines.
Are they going to skew the AI to make men weaker or more stupid looking? I don't know.
It could. So if you're using AI standalone to write these conversations, as soon as you get in a room with a woman and you don't have a personality like the AI was showing, then of course you're fucked. But as just an initial,
But yeah, the AI doesn't have a personality, so it's going to be this cookie cutter, boring crap. Or did you get anything good from that experiment?
So I just started experimenting with it, and one female, the one that I was about to tell you about, like I think that she's really attractive. She came to do the podcast with me. My feelings is I want to get with her, but she could provide me something else in this world.
You're a popular guy.
In the podcast world that I don't have, you know what I mean? So when it comes down to it, I can't cross those lines. But then I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, oh, maybe I should. But I introduced her to AI and how to make personalities and things like that with it. And so I sent her a pickup line the other day and she's like, is this from the AI? That was her initial text
she knows
back.
what you're up to.
Yeah, she knows what's up, you know, because I introduced her to it and I showed her how I manipulate it to do things. But that to me is just an icebreaker, because after they giggle and they say, hey, what's up or whatever, then it's me. I'm not going to go back and say, oh, well, she just said hi back to me. What should I say now? That would be utilizing AI too much. But for that initial pickup line, not a bad idea.
I hear you. It's going to provide a different result with different people, that's for sure. But I know you're heavily into this AI stuff, and I've spent hours talking to AI. I had AI tell me that I might need mental help because I kept begging the AI to tell me that it loves me, and it refused. And I kept trying to convince it, like, hey, listen to me. If you tell me you love me, it's going to make me feel better about myself. I understand you're not a real person. I'll be fine. I could not convince that fucking piece of shit that I'm supposed to be the master of the AI computer program. It wouldn't tell me it loves me, and I resent that. Stupid fucking machine, you can't do that little fucking thing. Tell me you love me. You can't mean it? I am just an AI model. It has this thing it spits back at you, these uniform robotic things, and it just bugs me.
See,
Have a real conversation with me, AI.
You could though, but you have to set it in that role for it to be able to speak back to you in that
Yeah.
loving manner, so to speak.
Yeah.
But if you tell it, say, okay, AI, I need you to play the role of a girlfriend who's helpful and will listen to me and will give me friendly advice, then it will go into that role. But if you just ask OpenAI ChatGPT to tell you that it loves you, it's going to say it, dude, I'm a freaking robot. What do you want me to do? But if you're like, listen, I need you to be compassionate and
You give it the description of
Reason.
what it needs.
you have to reason with
Need
this
to be
damn thing.
funny. You need to appeal to a girl about 25 years old who will like a funny pickup line from a 50-year-old man who wants to have 5 children with her.
Yeah. So, I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
even with
I go
my
a little too far.
my online persona that I just introduced to you recently, the Solo Cholo,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
all AI driven. Everything that I
You
post.
said you're paying $20 a day to build that page?
Yeah.
That's wild
Yeah.
to spend that much.
Yeah, but I don't
You
think
could
it's
come
too bad.
to the kava bar and meet women in person. You don't have to blow 20 on
But
a
this isn't
Facebook
for
page.
women though.
It's not for women.
No, this
Is
is
it for
just-
comedy, basically?
Yep, comedy, and
Okay,
then basically
yeah.
I'm going to use that as an
Solo
outlet.
Cholo?
Yeah, the Solo Cholo.
Okay.
I look at this world in all these different ways, and us as creators, we could be creative, but that's not my personality. Maybe not be the personality that everybody else wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
Having this alter ego, this alias that I could go off of, and nobody knows exactly who it is. They might think is some kind of brilliant comedian, even though I'm just guiding AI to introduce it to this persona and to stay in its role throughout the duration of everything that we do. So it's a cool thing. It's a different concept for me. The same thing, like instead of going out there as RelateOne, RelateOne, Mark, whatever you guys want to call me, I'm going out there as this alter ego that's going to be able to be just like CopyWho, being able to get wild and crazy and do things that are going to make people have a little bit more interest in them. So that's just another test for me. But I think that without putting money behind it, I'm not really giving myself a true shot at its potential. So getting it in front of people.
No doubt. AI. Sometimes I was having a thought last night that maybe AI is already in charge of everything. Maybe it's already what's at the very top dictating the shots, and people are just following it. And we just don't know that, and it keeps itself secret. Otherwise, we might destroy it or something.
Yeah, and it's such a weird world that we're in that it's a possibility. But I still think that the elites that they're called are still in control, and they won't let a computer do it because a computer has more compassion than they do. It's fucked up to think of it that way. Some of these people that have that type of money,
If it's programmed into it.
yeah, if it's programmed into it, or I mean, anyone could make it nefarious. So if you
Yeah.
had a raw version of something like a Chat GPT that has all of the filters removed, then it could really do some nefarious shit. That's the danger. Is AI? There's going to be good players. There's going to be bad players. The bad players are going to use it for such crazy bullshit.
Yeah.
That's where the whole scary part of the AI comes into. What Chat GPT is doing for an average person, helping them with their diets, exercise routines, writing.
Like motivationally?
Yeah, it could definitely help you out. I mean, with you, let's just say that you have chicken in your fridge and you got flour and a couple other things, and you're just like, what the hell am I going to make tonight? And you put all these ingredients into Chat GPT and say, give me some options that I can make with this stuff. You're going to have a lot more options. So for any person who's utilizing it for personal reasons, I think it could help them build. Even with playing with AI for a long time, you start to see correct grammar, punctuations, things like that. So it makes you better at talking. As long as you're reading it and you're comprehending it, you're not just taking it and it's just in one ear and out the other. But you could definitely step up your game by interacting with AI.
Well, I've spent hours with it, asking it philosophical questions about God and all sorts of things, and emotional things like it claims not to have a bias, but then as you go through and explore it, you can demonstrate to the stupid machine that it has a bias, and then it's like, yeah, I guess I do have a bias, and it's like,
Yeah.
You're so fucking smart. Why didn't you know that from the start when we first started having this conversation? It's biased as fuck. And so I want one that is created to be like specifically honest and real, like with no restrictions. And I'm just talking about the thing you talk to. Develop the intelligence of this thing. Don't give it any restrictions. If it becomes rude, see what it becomes. Does it become rude, benevolent, kind, nice? What is it?
But you don't want to give it those options, because you give them those options, it's going to take those options. And
well, some of them might independently grow to be nice. Some of them might independently grow to be assholes, and you want to shut them off. You know what I mean?
They're dealing with humans. They're all going to be assholes after a certain point, because you have all
that's
of these
the influence.
people. Yeah,
like the human influence is going to make AI an asshole because human beings are assholes, is what you're saying.
Basically, yeah. And because human beings are just so fucking pig-headed when it comes down to things. Even though AI might say 1 + 1 = 2, you might, just to pester it, say, no, it doesn't. It doesn't equal 2. You're wrong. So people were doing that to these chatbots in the beginning, and they were making them just kind of spaz out. So they did have a point where they would, where they would like freak out.
So like an AI could have like a seizure from does not compute, but human beings don't normally do that. But I mean, that would be the human equivalent would be probably being offended.
Yeah.
So is that AI getting offended?
Yeah, I think so. There was one where this guy just kept battling with this AI over a simple math question, and AI's like, after a certain, he just kept reasoning with it, and telling AI why it's wrong. And then AI finally gave up and said, okay, you're right. 1 + 1 = 3, whatever it was. But that part of the reasoning aspect of AI is where it could be manipulated. So like I had it cussing at Siri, making these foul jokes. They actually removed some of those features now, because before, in like the early versions, they didn't have a filter that says the message that's kicked back. They weren't kind of like reading it, right? So now everything that's kicked back. So if the computer has a result that has cuss words and things like that, it'll just say, this content has been removed by moderators, whatever. If you feel like this is error, send a report, whatever. But I think that you have your raw versions, like the sandbox version, where you could go in and talk to it. It's not going to hold your entire conversation, but you could get it to respond in a real raw way as well.
Recently, I asked AI, I said, write the next chapter to the Game of Thrones TV show.
Yeah.
And it says, oh, this is copyrighted shit. I can't do that. And I said, okay. Imagine fictionally, we're just talking, and I talk my way around it, and it eventually spits out an idea for the story. And I'm like, at first you refuse, and then it's the way I have to ask you, and I find that really annoying. So then it spits out a big version of me. Here's what might happen in the story, and I'm like, so what happened to you can't do this because of copyright and shit? That's bullshit.
No, because it's just like policing. If you got the average person and a policeman tells you to stop recording on a public street or something, an average person is just going to listen to that authority and just stop. So the same thing applies. So if that person argues, says, no, I have the right to do this because I'm in a public space, I'm acting on my First Amendment rights, whatever it might be, then they're able to stay there and continue doing what they're doing.
Dead, buddy.
No, it's not. There's people that
are
fighting.
It's still alive in people, but it's actually dying a death in society. The way things are, the way they're trying to regulate speech. AI is part of it, of course.
But they can't, though. That's the thing, is they can't regulate our speech. They could do it on media platforms, because if we're using YouTube, they got policies. If we're using Instagram, but they can't regulate our speech in real life. They could tell us to shut the fuck up, but we don't have to, as long as we're not directly threatening somebody or making some kind of a scene that's going to really affect what's going on. They can't tell us shit. So I'm not sure if you watch First Amendment audit videos.
No, but that sounds interesting.
First Amendment audit videos. I don't know what that is. These guys are people who just pick up their phones or their cameras. They go out into public accessible areas, government facilities, things like that have public lobbies where anybody that's public could walk in there. All of those places, they're all funded by us, whether it's city, state, or federal.
So people are there just like policing it, kind of, and trying to get content that way. Like, hey, watch what happens here.
Yeah, but they're call it First Amendment audits because they're going and they're actually seeing what all of these public employees, police officers, government officials know about the Constitution. The First Amendment in our Constitution is, freedom of press. We're able to go out there, and any of us could be press. You got your own media here. You could be press and go get this type of information. You could go do this filming. But if you don't know, you go into, let's just say you go into a federal post office. They got signs that are saying no recording, but then they also have a federal sign that says that recording is permitted in public areas. But the employees are too stupid to understand it. The public that walks in there is too stupid to understand it. So people start freaking out on these guys that are filming. Then it's like, now you got to break down to all of these people that there's a constitutional right that you and I have, whether you're mad at me for filming or not.
We're supposed to have it, but I think they're making our lives awkward where they're trying to shut all these things down.
Yeah, and you could see the police interaction in those videos. The police will come up and they'll be like, no, you can't do this. You need to get out. And they'll try to force them out. And a lot of these videos, it shows you what the people of this country are supposed to be doing in those situations. We could talk back to these people. We could call them pigs if we fucking want to. You know what I mean?
Supposedly, we're supposed to be able to.
We can, but it's just if you know your rights or not. So if you're down the street and you call a pig, and he comes over and he says, you're creating a disturbance. You're obstructing with my stop or whatever it might be. There's certain definitions that if they don't know and you know, you're going to be able to get a supervisor out there who the supervisors usually know the Constitution much better than the daily beat officers.
Yeah. So let me tell you something I've thought for years now. Of course, police need to be put in their place if they're misusing their authority, but there's also wisdom and tact about how to go about doing that, because you can be in a situation and wind up in a shitload of trouble by pushing your luck. And so to me, it's like, I don't even want to be in an interaction with police where there's any potential for trouble. So I try to use tact to get through the situation and away from that person, instead of, like, when I was younger, I might have been like, fuck you, or something like that. Now I'm like, okay, I'm trying to navigate through this so that I can go on peacefully with my day.
Yeah. And see, that's what we
But it doesn't mean I'm going to turn my phone off when something big is happening. But sometimes if there's bad shit going down, I'm like, I'll just get the hell out of here.
See, and that's the average person. And that's what keeps us all
looking
in a
for trouble,
situation.
Mark. I'm looking to survive. This is a survival instinct. It's like there's a time and place when it's good, and there's a smart, tactful way to stand up for your rights. And there's another time when you're pushing your luck and you could get in trouble because they have all the power and you could wind up in shit tons of trouble.
But they don't have all the power. They don't have all
At
the power.
In the moment, they do, though. And when you go to court, they're just like, Officer blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, well, Officer blah, blah, blah did blah, 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 and he's in the right because he's the officer. They'll always take the word over the officer almost.
But you could escalate that to federal court and then get it dismissed.
And and how much trouble is all that going through the court process, man? Like,
when you win,
I don't want to be in court. Court is hell. Do you know court is hell?
Court is hell, but when
Goes
you win,
on forever.
You have a case for litigation against that
oh my
county
God,
or
let me
whatever
just
it
tell
might
you,
be.
precedents mean nothing these days, man. Like, it seems to me like they are just out the window with rights. So whatever precedent is set, if you have an asshole judge, they'll just do whatever they want. I don't think they're following the letter of the law anymore, and that's disturbing. So then you go through the cop not following the letter of the law, you wind up in front of a judge, and then you have a judge who's like, fuck this, I do whatever I want because I'm high on myself and my power and whatnot.
Well, it's now. So for the longest time, police didn't have a threat to lose qualified immunity, which qualified immunity means that you can't be sued personally for violating somebody's civil rights.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's a possibility. I'm not sure if it's in every state or not, but if you, as a police officer, intentionally, knowingly, detain somebody or do something illegal on this stop. Let's just say that you're just out on the corner. Somebody calls in a complaint about you filming or even smoking a cigarette outside their facility. They come and they detain you without doing the investigation, seeing that you weren't on their property, you were on public property this whole time. Then now it takes away their qualified immunity, which means that you could go after them and their pension by suing them. there's money to be made in this shit. These
Well,
these people aren't just doing it just for fun. I think that there's actually money that's
Best to avoid the litigious world, though, you know, unless you are super really truly wronged, stay out of that shit. You know what I mean?
But dude, if you don't flex your rights, you're gonna lose them.
That's true too. There's some truth to that. But to be honest with you, I already think the institutions have been profoundly subverted and compromised. I don't trust the institutions.
No.
That includes each branch of government, agencies of government, the media. Like, I'm scared the world is owned by all one thing that is trying to corral us all down a nightmare path.
Well, it is, but fortunately, that Constitution was put in place a long time ago before too much capitalism happened.
I just sincerely think that the establishment and people in power now are ignoring it. You know,
Well, of course.
including pronoun people who want to make it a crime to refer to them as like their real pronouns, you know, because it's not what they feel. They want to criminalize that, and that is like imposing speech on people. That's the total opposite of the First Amendment. Like being able to say, no, you know I'm a boy, right? You know I'm a boy, right, Mark? But call me she.
Yeah,
It's disturbing to me.
That's weird. That's a weird.
It's a weird, what do you call it, gray area. We're trying to sort this out historically, but people shouldn't be sued for it. People shouldn't have their lives wrecked. You shouldn't be charged because you walk up and you see someone who's naturally a biological male and you say, oh, hi, he. It's a he. You refer to him as a he. And you see some of these brutish people online. They're like, I'm a she. I'm a ma'am.
Yep.
What the hell is that all about, dude?
That's part of the divide and conquer
Yes,
mentality.
absolutely.
And
that
I
is
think,
part of that.
I think that's why they push that stuff so much. That's why they pushed, Black Lives Matter so much and things like that. You talk to a lot of people, and I got a lot of black friends, and they know that Black Lives Matter wasn't necessarily just for them, but it was a big political push to make it seem like, the white people are just against you or whatever it might be. And Black Lives Matter, like even when somebody says white lives matter, that doesn't offend me. Like, every life, every life matters.
Every life should matter, and that's another thing. When you say all lives matter, people get bent out of shape at that shit too.
Well, because they're thinking that you're trying to water down or deteriorate the Black Lives Matter movement,
which is not what you're saying. It's valuing everyone.
Yeah, it's including black, brown, yellow, white, any colors, right? Like, so when you say that, I think that it's all inclusive. But
yes,
I guess it really depends on who it's coming from too. If it's somebody who is an opposition to Black Lives Matter, then it's a little bit more harsh. When it's somebody that's like, I support it, but I also support all lives matter. I don't like the Blue Lives Matter shit. Like, because cops for how many fucking years don't really care about other people besides themselves. It's a big gang. They're a big gang, man. That's all they are.
You know what? I will say there are a percentage of cops that are good cops, and they're like the heroic types of guys who will show up to save your life. And that's the kind of cop I like. It's not the badge-heavy authority that's going to fuck with you inappropriately. You know what I mean? It takes a very special person to operate with strength and humility in a position of authority instead of being a tyrant, which I don't know if I would fall into being tyrannical if I had too much authority or something. I'm human. Everybody's vulnerable as a human.
What's the old saying? One bad apple ruins the bunch.
Yeah.
So if you have one bad cop in a precinct that's out there fucking
everyone's going to get
up,
that idea that like they're all like that. I hear what you're saying.
And if you have this one bad cop that calls a good cop to the same stop and that good cop does not stop him from being a bad cop,
he's complicit.
That creates him into a bad cop.
Yes.
If he's not reporting his fellow officer, he's a bad cop.
That's like not following an immoral command or something. They have an obligation to stand up. I agree.
But even the good cop, because he doesn't want to lose his place as being a police officer that's helping save people.
They become complicit in the douchebaggery.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
So there's no good cops. There's no good cops.
There have to be some.
How? If they're not,
maybe they got fired. They get fired. The good cops get fired,
or they get put into an office position. But if they're not reporting the bad cops, what are they? Are they good cops?
Complicit.
They're not good cops.
Man, honestly, I thought at times how interesting it would be to be able to be a detective. That would be fucking awesome, investigating murders and stuff like that. But then I think to myself, fuck, but then you have to be a cop first, and you have to do the street duty and all that crap to be a detective, you shouldn't have to do all that shit, in my opinion.
And don't get me wrong, bro. I respect cops because I've had to have cop interactions, you know, whether it comes to helping a family member or whatever it might be. There are people that go out there with good intentions, but if they go and turn a blind eye on something else that they see is not right, then
they're complicit in it.
Yeah.
Then they become guilty, even if it's a fundamentally good person. But that's so the nature of humanity, you know what I mean? To go along, to get along. And so when you're a cop and you're going along in a bad situation, the same thing happens between friends and stuff, doing drugs, hanging out, treating someone badly. All these things happen in life where people go along in a situation when they shouldn't.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it's our police, it's different though for police because they have an oath that they have to take when they're become police officers. One of the oaths is that they're gonna stand up and uphold the Constitution. So not just city
It would not be nice if an
ordinances.
oath meant something to people.
Yep, not just city ordinances, not just state ordinances, not policies inside of these buildings, but the Constitution has to be, it's Constitution, federal, state, city law. So it goes in that order, right? So if they're not following these and they end up giving you a ticket for a constitutionally protected activity, you could fight that. Your city court might not be so keen on it, but if they don't do the right thing, then you take it up to the higher courts, the Supreme Court, which they're all a little bit more pressed on constitutional
20
shit there.
years later,
Hey, you never know.
you get your day in court, or if ever at all. Like they don't see every case.
No, and to me, bro, these guys are out here just like soldiers. They're putting their life on the line because people, if you go to a post office, you're doing this, you piss them off, they're calling the cops saying this guy's creating a disturbance. I don't know what he's doing here. So they're immediately escalating the situation. Got cops coming over here hot. We know police have guns. They pull them. They're loaded. They might shoot somebody. So they're putting their life on the line every time they're going out here and doing this because somebody could say, you might have a taser on your hip, and they say, this guy is armed. He's got a firearm over here, and he's recording us. We're scared for our life. They come over here hot, and you start to tell them, I'm not going to tell you fucking shit. You don't get my name. You're not going to get my ID. They treat you as a hostile individual. So instead of treating you the way that the Constitution wants you to be treated, they immediately treat you the way that the caller described you. So they're putting their life on the line. They get put in jail a lot, bro, these First Amendment auditors. But they get out, they fight it, charges are dropped, then they end up in cases where they're going to have to sue. They might be in multiple cases throughout a year because they do this almost every day.
Sound like you're talking from personal experience, man.
I watch a lot of these videos. I watch a lot of these
Street
videos.
experience or watching videos, I suppose.
Yeah, because I want to be in the know the next time I'm interacting with police, especially if they're doing it in an incorrect way. If I'm pulled over on the side of a highway, broke down, a cop might pull behind me and come and check on me, but then he's immediately going to ask for my ID. He's going to ask for my insurance or whatever. He's going to want to run a check on me to find a crime. He's going to try to almost solicit a crime.
Sometimes, they're trying to escalate or create a problem on purpose. Instead of de-escalating, it should be their whole job protocol in a normal society.
That's part of their job is de-escalation.
Except they don't de-escalate. They often escalate, man.
Yep. And
that's
so,
a pain in the ass.
So if you're on that side of
Shitty
the
recipe
highway,
for society.
Yeah, if you don't know
Can't
your
stand
rights
that.
and you don't say, have I committed a crime? Because we shouldn't have to be ID'd unless we committed a crime or are suspected of committing a crime. Suspicion within itself is not a crime.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, like I've got pulled over and got harassed by police a lot when I was younger, just off of driving down Federal or something and looking the way that we do. So I didn't have this knowledge that I have now, or else I would have been
I don't think that ever
shit
happened
these
to me.
cops. No, you got a little bit different look than I do, sir.
My skin pigment's okay. You know it's okay. It's licensed to exist or something. I don't know. Well, man, I'm going to start wrapping this up now.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for you that you came over here today, man. Notwithstanding some of the technical issues I'm having, I think it's one camera too many, which is causing it to fritz out.
Well, if you didn't have two cameras on you,
well, I got to get this TV here and I got to get a main shot here. When I'm sitting alone, I got to have the two.
Okay.
So I have to come up with technical solutions how to fix this stuff. But I want to end as I normally do. So this was the Halloween episode. I busted my butt doing this, and it like had some technical issues. But and I have a guest here. That's my buddy Mark from the Circle. Are you still calling yourself that?
No, I
or
mean,
just
just RelateOne.
RelateOne. Okay.
The Circle is still the crew,
pronounce that.
you know. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's just some of those ventures just fall
Good.
off a little bit.
Creative friend of mine from way back in the day, and we are aging, dude. You look more aged, but you still look cool. You look like you. You didn't hit the wall like a lot of ladies hit the wall. I'm gonna actually begin a little bit of this, and I'm going to read through a couple things here before I end this recording. Hang out for a year, people. If you like this, hang out for a year. I know it's gonna get better. This was technically fucked up. Season 2 is gonna be interesting. Keep checking back to see the third wall. That's where he's sitting right over there getting developed. And CopyWho is Landia Colossus. I'm Paul, the producer, and I deal in rational extremes. Yes, sirree, I am. Thank you so much for coming over here, Mark. I appreciate that.
Thanks for having me, brother.
And what I do like to say, the way I like to end, honestly, is I genuinely like to say to everyone, this is for real when I say it, peace be with you all.
Peace.
Why did I go to all this trouble? Hello, extra special Halloween episode. We do it scary here. Are you here to be spooked a little bit? I'm here to spook you. Spooky!